All right. Hi, guys. Can everyone hear me okay? Thumbs up if it's all good. Um, awesome. Yamagura, everyone. My name is Claudia Thornton. I am a Nyimpa Wongabon woman from Western New South Wales, but I am living and caring for Kabi Kabi country on the Sunshine Coast, and that is where I'm talking to you from today. I run a boutique visual marketing agency, which sounds very flash, but what it is I work one-on-one with a small roster of clients, and we work on sometimes yearly, quarterly, or even a monthly basis to set up frameworks around their content libraries. So content libraries are something in the realms of photography, videos, GIFs. We even do branded custom stickers for Instagram. We make graphic design for posters, postcards, and we've even done packaging for people to have a visual presence in shelves at stores and things like that. So anything visual is where I've decided to stick with. My past background is a photographer, and I am moving in like a photographer turned strategist. So when I say strategy, I found a lot of people were getting photo shoots done, and then they would not use the images. They would just kind of sit in a hard drive and collect pixel dust, you know. So I really wanted the images to be useful and of value. So I then started working with brands and teams to come up with strategic ways that they can create their content on a more regular basis that were aligned with their target audiences, as well as with their brand values or even their goals and objectives as businesses and brands. So that kind of comes in with a lot of planning, a lot of discovery. I love the discovery part of my job as a photographer and as a creative. And that is kind of what I'm hoping to go through with you today. Social media, a lot of people are wanting to talk to people, not brands. And I think with our mob, we're great at talking to people. And when we're on social media, sometimes we can let the red tape get involved in that sometimes, but also we may even get stop ourselves from actually doing what we want to do in terms of social media. So I kind of wanted to go back to basics today a little bit and see if there's an exercise that we can do that will help you with key mindset marketing, kind of unlock some creativity side of things. I do, of course, want to acknowledge country. I'm just going to I want to acknowledge elders past, present, and emerging. I also want to acknowledge those that have a voice and those who are creating their own voice within the space and making our communities stronger. But I also want to acknowledge something that's really important to me, which is country. So I wanted to do something maybe a little different for you guys now, for our mob. When we go and acknowledge country, it's more of a physical thing. So when we're actually on a digital space, we can feel a little bit disconnected from the true acknowledgement of country. So I'm hoping that we might be able to do something a little bit different with you guys today. And if you want to turn off your videos, I'm highly encouraging that today. It's a bit of a self-reflection process. So if you do want to turn off your videos, turn those off. But this exercise is all about connecting yourself with your environment, which is what acknowledging country is all about. So if you have a window in your office space or your home office space where you can actually see country and interact that way, just take a moment with that. If you are able to listen and focus and zero in on country that way, I encourage you, if that's the way that you want to do it. If you want to kick off your shoes and enjoy the freedom that it allows you and that freedom that it gives you, then kick off your shoes and enjoy the ground underneath you. Or if you're like me, you want to kind of like take a deep breath and actually bring all that's around you into you and be one. then I encourage you to take a deep breath without me chatting. I'm going to do a quick little acknowledgement without any sound so that you can do what you need to do to connect in that way. So, be back in a minute, guys. Okay, so that was a really brief one. And I love this exercise because I do it several times a day. This is the way that I connect and try and stay grounded. Yeah, so if you guys want to come back on video, what I would love also is for you guys to pop in the chat. If you open up the chat and pop in what country you want to acknowledge and where you're from, and tell me where you are, that would be awesome so I can get a sense of where everyone is coming from today. And while you guys are popping in the chat, while we're just on the subject of connecting, I kind of want to be a little bit real if I can, in that social media can sometimes feel like a little bit out of reach for some of us. We can feel like we're not connecting with our communities as much as we want. And I kind of just want to give you guys permission to say, look, it's okay, because Facebook has tended to gone into a pay to play, and same as Instagram. Reaches kind of can be down. And we're also competing for everyone's attention. So like that drawing that's right there, we have all of these thoughts in our mind. Unfortunately, people don't come into Facebook or social media wanting to interact with us. They kind of tend to stumble across us, or it's a way that people connect roundabout. So they might be there wanting a bit of entertainment. They might be there wanting to catch up with relatives far and wide. They might be simply just killing time. So when we talk about connecting with our audiences, one of the biggest things that I like to say to people is that discovery process around what are they actually thinking at the time of when they're on social media can help us plan out our campaigns, plan out our content. And this is probably an exercise that you guys may already have done yourselves. It may already be part of your everyday social media planning. But I kind of wanted to see if the exercise today would be something that we can all do together in order to, I guess, not knowing where everyone is in their stage of social media. Is everyone here working this way? Like if you wanted to pop in the chat for me as well, do you guys have like regular creative sessions or planning sessions to plan out your campaigns for the year or for the month, that sort of thing? I'm just going to see if I can hop in. Can you guys see my screen okay? Where is the chat? Here we go. Awesome. Yeah, so yeah, if you guys can just pop in what it is that you got, like if, do you guys meet up? Maybe the messages are a little bit slow, so I'll keep checking those as I go. But yeah, if you don't have regular planning sessions, I think most of our mob are kind of aware, like you guys are interacting through your services with our mob all the time. So I feel like you would have an idea of what people are feeling in the spaces that they are. But I wanted to kind of just do a bit of a refresh today, not knowing where everyone's at with this particular exercise. So with that in mind, which way? Are you guys only doing organic social media, or do you guys do a bit of mostly mix of paid and organic? It'd be great to kind of understand if you guys are struggling, especially for organic. It can be tough doing organic campaigns and organic social media, unless you've got a little bit of paid going on. So it'd be lovely to understand if you guys are doing paid as well as organic. Actually, I'm wondering if we can do Guys, I'm just looking in the comments. So organic, someone had a question there. Organic is, sorry, this is my marketing speak. I love that you said that, so thank you. Organic is without any paid advertising whatsoever. So this is you relying on your community engagement partnerships. You're creating that interaction per post purely within the platforms that you are on. Right, so there's a few people that are doing a mix of paid and organic, and each comes with their own challenges, definitely. And if you guys have any questions with regards to those, I'm happy for you to ask me any questions. We will move into a session where it kind of talks a bit more about specifics, but I kind of just wanted to know where you guys are at with organic and paid. Yeah, look, organic is tough. So I feel for you guys. Like, yeah, paid definitely helps with engagement, reach. So organic can be a bit tough when it comes to it. So yeah, definitely chat a little bit more in the exercises if you are organic only. So this is something that I find really helpful in our process. Whenever we do a campaign or whenever we do content creation, we usually go through a discovery process with the clients, not only about their goals, but we try and get into the mindset of people, and we start there first. So as you guys are probably aware, a lot of you are more wanting to maybe quit smoking or maybe even don't want to quit smoking. It's a mindset that they're in. They might be reducing, they might be preparing to have a quit plan. So how do you actually talk to people in each of these different mindsets? It's hard to talk to everyone at the same time, and I feel like, you know, in the smoking cessation space, there's a lot of conversations that you can have and a lot of campaigns that you can create. So having a focus can really help you do the things that you want to do with your campaigns. And I always like to start here. So it's my biggest tip. If you can start with getting into the mindset of your people. And this, I like this graph. It's probably a little bit out of date now, but you know, it has a bit of a percentage wise of where people are sitting in their mindset stage of smoking versus non-smoking, considering those sorts of things. And if to kind of reduce it down even more, those ones that are in the contented or the contemplating stage are often in a very low confidence mindset. So when we do messages around marketing or create a campaign, how can we actually use that knowledge of where they are in their mindset to create more impact with our campaigns? So if they have a low confidence in that way, most smokers in this mindset doubt their ability to quit. So can we empower them? Can we help show them that we understand exactly where they are? And in with those other mindsets of the reducers and preparing, they're mostly motivated, but they might be varying in their confidence. So how can we talk to those as well? In the high motivation side of things, or the higher confidence, they're sitting in the quitting stage and they might be actively quitting. So how can we actually create campaigns and messages that really resonate and be relevant with those people in the higher confidence area as well? So a good example of this is mattresses. I don't know if you guys are aware of the Casper brand, but Casper was the first ones to actually talk about getting a good night's sleep rather than selling the mattress and its features. So, you know, there's all these sorts of like inner springs and lumbar support and soft versus hard. Those are all features. But really at the heart of it, what they actually did was understood the mindset of people is that everybody, a universal truth for everyone is we love a good night's sleep. We feel rested. We love to get up in the morning, all those things. So they started selling a good night's sleep rather than a mattress. And that's what's made them number one brand out there in the marketplace. And it's simply because they understood the mindset of people. So in today's kind of breakout session, I thought that we could go into these key mindsets, do a little bit of brainstorming in each of these sessions, use our own experiences, how you talk to your mob as well, to kind of just do a bit of a refresher if we're already in the space. Maybe also do a little bit more for those who share a little bit more of our knowledge with others who may not be at that same level. And I guess this is like a nice way to actually, as a group, come together and do an exercise that will be like kind of like a springboard. I'm hoping it's going to be a resource for you guys to come back to and actually create a campaign, or to even just create content in your own organization. And I guess a real world example of this could be World No Tobacco Day is 31st of May. It's coming up. It's about 3 months away. If you haven't actually got your campaign coming or rolling in the planning stage, this might be a great way if you want to use World No Tobacco Day as an example of where you can actually use these messages. I find slogans are often more about the objective, and Commit to Quit is the World No Tobacco Day's theme this year. And that objective is a great one. It's kind of universal. I actually personally love it. But how do you actually make that really relevant for each people that are in the different mindsets here? And I guess I've broken that down into these headings, which is considering and preparing to quit, actively quitting, staying quit, and contented with, or they're not ready to quit. So how can you actually work in the World No Tobacco Day slogan and meet people where they are? So if we take a kind of a more personal one for me, I'm an ex-smoker. I've been a non-smoker now for around 5 years. And for me, I feel like smoking helped me feel more in control in traumatic situations. Stress was a big trigger for me, so that's why I've included it here. It helped me feel in more control, and so that's what kept me smoking a lot of the time, is that I didn't want to give up that buddy, that one that was always kind of there for me in a stressful state. I felt like I feel like even still today, I might be a little bit more of an anxious type of person without the smoking there. And so I had to actively find other ways or other outlets to get myself into a more, relaxed state without a cigarette, because for me, particularly smoking made me feel more relaxed. So I kind of thought to myself, okay, if World No Tobacco Day come across me while I was on my socials, let's just spitball for a bit and go, how can we work in that Commit to Quit slogan into someone who actually is really not ready. It's the hardest conversation that you could possibly have on socials with somebody. And maybe you guys in this process can start to get inspiration. But for me, I feel like I really resonated with a recent campaign, I think the Victorian Quitline did, where they said, are you grieving from giving up smoking? I thought that was a really great way to meet people at that particular mindset. Was like, when you lose a friend, you often grieve the loss. And that actually resonated with me, because I felt like that trauma, or using that situation, I felt like I grieved cigarettes for a while. But how can we work that with World No Tobacco Day? Perhaps you start talking about using that mindset to like massage the caption or the visuals around things like, how do you commit to quit? You also commit to get rid of a toxic friend, which in this case, cigarettes are as a toxic friend in that particular case. And these are like little tests that you can put out into your campaigns, little tests that you can put into your content to see how it resonates with your audience and which audiences are actually feeling those particular messages. And this is what we do quite a lot in social media, is feel out the audience, see what they actually resonate, and then we duplicate those particular results with more intensity as we go along. And usually that's how we create our campaigns as well. So does anyone have any questions for me at this stage? They want to come on and ask anything? I'm going to bring up the chat and have a quick look because I haven't had a look. Yeah. Does everyone have a team of people that work on their content? Who's going to be not shy? So no teams, lots of individuals, couple of teams.
Hi, Claudine. I hope you can hear me all right. It's Tim down in with AXA. As I mentioned before, we're very lucky that we have a full-time social media and comms person here. She's been great. Only started late last year. We've learned a lot already about how we can improve in this area. I guess we probably involve Alice a fair bit, but depending on what regions or what areas we're doing in our state down here, we probably do work in small groups so we can learn about it. Not always necessarily as the whole team, but certainly there's usually more than one person involved, so we can, show connection and those things. And, for Alice, obviously only being new, we've got some experience with the communities we're working with, so we can sort of help with that as well.
Yep. Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, you're probably like having a dedicated person can really help, I think, in this. It's quite time involved, I feel. I don't know if a lot of people feel that social media seems to take up a lot of time. I don't think a lot of people realise how much time it takes up.
And one other thing we've found too, Claudine, this is actually really good doing your session because Alice is teaching us, but even things like this are making things fit a bit better for us who perhaps aren't so social media savvy. But one thing we have found is that if you can get your social media right, there's clearly, it can have a far greater impact. We used to try and do our best, but we're seeing now that if it can be done properly, you can get a far better result.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think those relevant conversations, I guess why I chose to go with mindset is meeting people where they are in the feed. You might have auntie who's, just woken up one day who's really not feeling her greatest and attributes that to not smoking or to smoking too much. And if your message just happens to come across her feed, that builds a little bit of trust and awareness for her, particularly because you're speaking to her directly. I feel like a lot of campaigns and a lot of social media can be quite broad and won't go into these very specific conversations for fear of like separating people out or for fear of not making an impact. But if you do a lot of these messages over and over again, I feel like a lot of people are going to go, oh, they really understand me and my needs and others as well. So I'm just reading through. So how do you find those that don't have a team? Is anyone really wanting to come on and tell me about how you find the time allocation as an individual? Is anyone willing to jump on in and let us know how you go as an individual without a team? And you're all shy. It is hard. It's definitely hard. How are we going for time, moderators? Do we want to jump into this particular exercise? Does everyone want to have a go at it? Thumbs up if you do. It's a web link. Yeah, that's also hard. I'm just looking at the Cindy, like looking at the after hours side of it. It can be something that kind of creeps up on you. Hey, like you can fall down a rabbit hole a little bit at times on the after hours stuff, and it can interrupt your daily life sometimes as well if you're doing it individually. So I'm just going to grab this link. I can work out technology. I'm going to pop it in the chat. So know that when you guys, so in the chat room, I've just popped a link, everyone. If you want to grab that link, chuck it in your browser, you guys can actually contribute to this one message board. And this link will sort of stay open for everyone. Yeah, this link will stay open for everyone forever. So I'm hoping the more that our group contributes to this, the more of value and a bit of a resource it is for people. So share as much description as you possibly can in your experience under each of those headings. Just use the plus button underneath each of those headings to add your particular contribution. You don't have to identify if you don't want to, but if you do want to identify yourself as the contributor, you can, but you can stay anonymous as well. You can also use this to add a comment. So particularly if one description or comment is resonating with you or your particular community, you can also start to create those partnerships together if you guys are actually experiencing the same thing or having the same message come up again and again and again. So again, guys, like World No Tobacco Day, 31st of May, has everyone got a campaign ready to roll out? Thumbs up if you do. Or are you looking to kind of look at their resources and share their resources that they have available to you? Or are you wanting to do something very specific for your own community? Getting used to chat today. So has everyone got that link up? Great. Penny, are you guys there in the room?
Yeah, we're all here still together, Claudine, and I've just opened up that link.
Oh, awesome.
So I can see some people are typing in there already.
Fantastic. I'm going to quickly go into there. Have a look. Do we want to break these up into the breakout rooms, or how does it kind of, sorry guys, I'm new to this whole breakout session thing.
So Claudine, we've got another presentation before we go into the breakout rooms, and I think you've got 5 or 6 minutes left, so it's entirely up to you what you want to do with those last few minutes, whether you want to just leave it open for questions and pick this up in the breakout rooms.
Perfect. Yeah, I didn't set my timer. So thank you for that update.
All good.
Also, Claudia, if you can bring up that key mindset messages page from the live site that everyone's contributing to, so we can
Yeah.
record it for the meeting. Yep, that's it.
There you go. So yeah, if you guys can even just do one per heading, that would be, even just one would be awesome. One per heading's even great. If this kind of inspires you, we'll kind of add on to it and workshop each of these kind of, or pick out particular comments that are really resonating with people in the breakout session and work on those a little bit more in depth. Does anyone have a particular burning question that you really just want to ask a social media manager? I really want this while you guys are filling that out, but if anyone wants to jump on and really kind of let me know what it is that you really are struggling with. Yeah, I'm here to help, guys. I'm here to make this as valuable for you guys today as I can.
Just a question for all of the teams online today. Do any of the teams have barriers in terms of your organization's policies around their social media? So are there kind of restrictions around how regular that the TIS team can post if you're posting under the organization's social media page? So in fact, are you able to have a specific TIS Facebook or social media page that you work to? Just wondering if that's an issue for some of the teams.
Good one. I will let you guys know if you want to pop on. I actually work with the Career Quit Line, social media management. So I know some of the particular things that you might be facing if you're in that environment, and the approvals process and the timelines that you may be in. So yeah, if you guys have any particular questions about that, I'm happy to talk in terms of understanding. I know that there's a lot of approval process that you have to go through. I'm just going to have a quick read of the comments. Loving all the comments on this, on the mindset page, guys. There seems to be considering, seems to be the most popular one. Do most people share a page with maybe their local? Is that what it is? Do you share your page with other service, or the service that you're actually housed within? Is that how it kind of works for some that don't have a dedicated page? Yeah. Okay. So some people are saying that they share the page. Some people are saying they've got their own dedicated page. Those all come with their own challenges, especially when you share. And even when you have a dedicated one, it means you need to create more content, right? So yeah, lots of different ways. And I guess that's why I wanted to do the key mindset. Was that someone jumping on there? Yeah. So Rihanna has brought up that there is a bit of a long process when it comes to developing your content, maybe even planning it in the planning stages to the approval stages. This can be a big one for us. We're always working, for me as a social media, even with all my brands, a lot of people are wanting to work on a quarterly goal basis, but we're always constantly planning out content a month in advance and getting those approval processes happening by the 15th of the month prior. So by the 15th of this month, we would have had submitted next month's content and had approval hopefully by the end of the month, and any adjustments made after that. I guess COVID has really highlighted to us as social media managers that you can't also control the world, and things happen. And even with the Facebook media going down recently, that it means that you constantly can't set and forget, which is what used to happen, is that we could kind of set and forget a little bit. But COVID and all of these kind of movements that are happening at the moment means that we can't always just plan things and leave it be. We have to be every week going back and actually changing it. And for the approval process, that can be quite difficult because we need to move as social media changes, right? So that can be quite difficult if it's in scheduled and you need to pull it quite quickly. If it's not appropriate, we need to be able to take those really quick actions.
Claudine, I think we might allow this session to roll into the breakout rooms. So we're just coming on time for the end of the session and time for our next presenter.
Awesome.
On the program. But yeah, that's great. So